Hello and welcome back, everybody. Quick break right there. We'll see if we make quick work of this series because DSG are heating up, Joshi. Especially Tenacity, who is a player that you were keeping your eyes on going into that last game. He had an incredible performance.
Yeah, he did a really good job. Now, we got to admit that his first solo kill was kind of Dragoon solo killing himself, but after that, we were able to see him get a lot of much more legitimate chase downs, right? We saw that there was another fight that he had up on the top side, and then he was able to chase him down on the bottom side as well to find a lead that mostly came off of the discrepancy in that 1v1. Now, going into the next game, we're looking at Tenacity once again because Dragoon has this style that he likes to play, and I feel as though Tenacity might be the perfect player to kind of prey on all of these juggernauts that we know his opponent likes to go for because Tenacity is very versatile. He loves playing duelists, which can really take down these big meatballs.
But he also, what I'm most impressed with Tenacity is that was kind of his MO for a while. He did get kind of forced to learn the tanks, the whole meme of, Papa Smithy passing him
Here's the Ornn
bag. Yeah, back on Ornn duty. He's played a lot of Cassante as well this split, so we know that he's not just a one-trick, pony in terms of, I play bruisers or I play carries. He does pull out the tanks every now and then, which I think does make a tough opponent for a player like Dragoon, who's got his own niche picks and his own style that he likes to play. Dragoon's kind of got his... It's not like the gods like Adam over in LEC, but it almost feels like it's close. What can we spell with it? Like Mordekaiser, Darius, Olaf.
Mod. Dom.
Mod. Okay, yeah, we're gonna go one direction, not the other direction with that one. But I think it's important to highlight that Dragoon, his champ pool is unique. It's a little niche compared to a lot of other players in the league, but you're right that Tenacity does have the experience to play through that.
Yeah, it is definitely a big spot where we are looking, and we know that Fiora also got, slightly nerfed in this last patch, but makes a lot of difference in a lot of these matchups. And something that we have been seeing not a lot of in this split is split pushing. That was something that Tenacity was very good at in the years prior, so this is something where he could bring that out. But I also want to start looking at Young as one of the only players, in fact the only player who was the defending champion coming through for Disguised from their victory last split, actually did a really good job as well this game. Even though there were a couple slight flubs on the Azir play coming through, we know that he's got a lot of champions like the Sylas and the Akali that we just haven't been able to see a lot from him because they've oftentimes been banned.
That's a good point, and he got ahead in the mid lane, not egregiously ahead or super far accelerated, but remember that Poom used his heal super early on the Ashe to walk up and make sure the messages was at half health to start off laning phase and wouldn't be able to get it back off in time. Also, shout out to Poom on the Ashe, by the way. It's banned in the majority of games, vast majority of games that we have in the NACL, but he showed that it has such oppressive laning, even if he was really behind an XP to his support opponent. I still think he played it incredibly well, but I do wonder now with Fearless bans, keep in mind, we're about to show the champs that were just locked in for each of these teams. They can't play those champions again. So if we're looking at something that might be similar for how DSG won that one out, is there anything else that's as oppressive as the Ashe in that support role, or is this kind of like DSG are going to struggle to do that twice?
I mean, not really. There's nothing that really does the same thing that Ashe does right now, unless you want to go back to the weird Varus and the Jhin picks that can have a lot of oppressive play. Caitlyn support, right? But we are not Keria. Your team is not T1. Don't do it in your own solo queue games. But this is definitely a position where it feels as though DSG will need to pick another high priority bottom lane in order to find another situation, right? This has been the playbook going into LiT because Rockboom and Flux are not particularly strong laners. They're constantly getting pushed in. It doesn't need to be Ziggs Ashe in order to get that push. You can play things like Lucian Milio will also do it. You can play the Varus, who is also able to do it. Kalista can get the priority there as well. And even though, not all these are the most Manui champions we've ever seen, there's still a lot of ways in order to help out Perry actually find his way into Kisno's jungle early in the game.
And when I look at this composition for DSG, it just feels like the perfect comp for them. Manui likes to play more mages in the bot lane than traditional carries, or at least that is what his win record would show you. I've talked to him in the past, and he's like, I don't really label myself as that. He still believes that he can pull out the traditional carries and do just fine. He puts a lot of practice on them, especially Kai'Sa is actually his favorite champion in the game, fun fact. But he's known more for the mages, for things like the Seraphine, like the Ziggs. He has played even Syndra in the bot lane in the past. So it just kind of fits down there. Poom's on something that he can roam on. We know that Poom loves to get out of lane and impact the rest of the map. And then Tenacity's on a carry, Perry on something that he can facilitate the team with and be that primary engage. with Fearless Draft, it's going to be tough for them to get something exactly the same, but they still have some options. This is where we start to see teams start to ban out what they just got. I do fully expect DSG will ban out things like that Ashe to make sure that they have prior on their end. Maybe like Karma, I guess, to answer my own question there, would be that next thing that could rise up and give some priority in that bot lane, though, if you're looking for the traditional supports.
It has been a champion that has been kind of missing from the Challengers League meta almost entirely. At the same time, as we start getting into this pick and ban, I am a little bit surprised that LiT has opted to go for the red side. Yes, the top lane counterpick matters quite a bit, but we got to see that even with the counterpick, Dragoon was not able to find that lead at all. And the one thing that I do have to say is I'm a little bit glad that they will not be able to pick the Zarya again. This is a champion that, yes, is playable in a lot of situations, but you really need a spot where your opponents do not have the crowd control, do not have the slows available to actually get onto the Zarya. And we saw that Rock Boom. I mean, you give up too much of your laning power with this champion. We need a stronger lane coming out from LiT's bottom lane, and we're already going to be seeing that they're going to be banning away at least the Seraphine to take it away. But at the same time, Steve, there's no Ashe ban coming out from Disguise. They're not worried about that coming through from LiT.
I'm trying to cook right now and see if I can find the stat for how many times LiT have been red side. Because just my gut feeling is the majority of their games, like a large majority. I oftentimes see LiT is one of the teams that will choose red side because they highly value that counterpick specifically for their top laner in Dragoon. So it doesn't surprise me, but I'm looking for the hard numbers. I'll pay attention to that maybe after we catch up on the picks and bans, because we do see an interesting thing here. The Orianna blue pick has been very high priority, enough so that it gets banned very often, but it's not Karma.
Ooh.
Karma is still available.
Whoa, that's a really interesting combination coming through from LiT. Now, we know this has been a team that in the past, especially during the OQs, was known for their cooking, right? They love coming in with these cool draft picks and these really big reads on how their opponents are likely to be playing. And they know they also don't need to pick up the Ashe right now. They can pick it later because their opponents will not be allowed to take it away from them. However, this is a spot where the Aurelion Sol was kind of a counter pick to things like the Orianna, because you are able to kind of freely stack up that Stardust over time and gives you this really big opportunity to layer the Vi ultimate with your own ultimate, get that big stun, and lock down someone for a long period of time, especially once they lose their flash. And so Perry coming through with the Poppy gives them a lot of tools to try and stop that quite a bit. These guys are once again leaning into a front-to-back style of team fight.
Yeah, there's a lot of scary, I'd say combos, but more so just like that traditional front-to-back team style from DSG already with these first three champions locked in. Poppy's not the biggest ball delivery system, but it is still a ball delivery system. Most importantly, though, it will shut down things like the Vi going for the Vault Breaker engages and trying to get onto your backline. So very defensive tool right there. I do have the number. I was able to find it. It is now 1-9 on red side. So they have 10 red side games, and they've only won one of those games for LiT. Their blue side win record's actually better. They're 4-3 on blue side. Yeah. Interesting to note there for LiT, but they still opt for the red side more often. They have a couple more games on there as they lock in the Kai'Sa for their third pick.
Yeah, it turns out blue is really good right now because your bottom lane is not nearly as diveable as the red side bot lane. It's one of the only things about the new season that I think a lot of people are a little bit annoyed about, is the fact that the red side bottom lane is so... You have to pick a strong bottom lane, or you're just going to get dove over and over again. And now, with the Kai'Sa coming through, we are seeing a bit of a dive style coming through from LiT. Now, there is still possible to go either the Eclipse build or to go for some AP builds here for the Kai'Sa. You still have a lot of freedom in how you're going to be trying to play this one through, but now the big thing that we have to see coming out from DSG is how well they can actually build up their composition to stop Vi and this Kai'Sa from being effective. And I would love to see at least a couple more strong dueling champs in the top side for Tenacity to really shut down the things that we know Dragoon likes to play.
Yeah, I feel like top side's where I'm looking as well, just because mid lane, you know, Orianna's created zone control and follow up engage, but not necessarily known to be a champion that I see mid laners be like, hey, give me the resources early on, I can carry play through me. Smolder needs to scale a little bit before you're really waiting for him to pop off. So if they do want something in the early game to get rolling, I agree Tenacity would be that pick, but it will be counterpicked because that is just how LiT plays the game. See what they go for, and also what LiT goes for their support role. Vi jungle, Aurelion Sol mid, Kai'Sa bot. That is the assumption based on all the champions locked in right now. So that would be a Maokai support based on the hover, and it is locked in.
I don't love this champion, despite the fact that, we were talking about solo queue win rates earlier. This champion has been consistently like a 55% win rate solo queue support. However, it doesn't tend to pan out nearly as well at the professional level, just because you have some good tools, but you're missing out on a lot of stats. You don't have money as Maokai support, and that means you're relatively squishy. You're easy to prey on in ways that you don't see happen in solo queue. And now, as Reduction comes through for Tenacity, he's just picking a generalist.
Yeah, generalist for Tenacity, but I want to go back quick on the Maokai point. What it does add is a second point-and-click CC ability for Smolder. Vi ult plus Maokai W means that whenever they want to get on the Dragon, they should be able to get on the Dragon. But, as I say that, maybe I spoke too soon, because Janna makes things very difficult now. Janna, Orianna, Poppy. How are we supposed to get on the enemy AD carry at this point? This is very defensive from DSG, but I like it.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that is really going to be trying to dive onto the Aurelion Sol is the Renekton. So that becomes a big game. Once again, we got to look at messages to see how aggressive or how strong he can get. And as the Garen comes through, I mean, one of the things that we always got to talk about with Garen is the original player that we saw this in Challengers League, the one who pioneered it for us in Moose Hater, because he was so good at looking for opportunities to find these different flank angles. That has not been a strength of LiT Esports throughout their tenure so far. And while the matchup is good up here in the top lane, the one thing that we have to remember about Garen is it's a scaling pick, right? It becomes really strong later on in the game, whereas if we look at this game in particular, it doesn't exactly solve your scaling issues. It is going to still be mostly on messages to maintain his scaling throughout the game, and the Garen is just kind of nice to have by the time the two dragons are just breathing on each other.
Right, you are, Josh. I feel like Dragoon heard the acronym you came up for him and was like, no, I don't want that.
No.
Give me the Atom one.
G-Dom.
I'm going to lock in the Garen as well. Now, what it does provide is backline threat that doesn't have to dash, though. So the Poppy's not going to be stopping it as well. Janna can slow you and push you away, but Garen's kind of inevitable when he'll make it there. You got to get through his health bar before he can. But if he does get onto that Smolder, will be tough news for Manui. Let's see if DSG are able to hold the line and keep their dragons safe. Battle of the Dragons. DSG versus LiT. A reminder, according to my calculations, if DSG win this game and 2-0 this series, they are locked into playoffs and avoiding that promotion relegation tournament. From the numbers I was running before the show, the only mathematical possibility for them to then still make it down is if they drop a game to LiT, and then depending on how the rest of the final weekend goes. But reminder, that's only my calculations.
Yep.
Let me know if you've run your own numbers. Let us know who you're believing in for this game as well. Spam DSG if you think it's disguised. Spam LIT if you think it's LiT.
Steve, I'm really glad that you are putting your name on this so that if it's wrong, it doesn't reflect on me at all, right? It is definitely one of the things.
I take full responsibility.
Full responsibility.
In fact, at me on Twitter.
Yeah.
At me on X, in fact.
The app formerly known as Twitter. But as we start looking at this one, we are going to be seeing that there is a ward down on Kisno's red buff up the top side, and we will be getting opposite style clears coming through from these two junglers. And Kisno, I like the fact that he's starting a spot where he's not going to be immediately spotted out. He will be going for these raptors in order to try and dodge out on some of that early vision. And
okay. This is what I like to see from ASOLs. I know that looks really weird.
I've seen it before,
press Q, but you just get a bunch of stacks and you out-trade your opponent if they just stay in range of that, which is pretty long range. So I actually kind of like that for messages.
It is one of the kind of things where you do have to do it as a Aurelion Sol. Level 1 is about the only time where you are stronger than a lot of other mid-lane mages because they don't have access to any of their abilities yet, but we do just have this trade in level 2s coming through. We also have the trade in potions, and now messages he needs to continue building up this health lead going into Young before Poppy can really affect it. So there is a lot of pressure already getting put down onto Young, but it's going to be a while before either Poppy or this Vi are able to really interact with this mid lane.
And I will say, Messages is heavily trading, but he's dropped a few CS already. He's been missing out with the Qs. He's been missing some autos as well. So while it feels good to trade, I think that Young is, getting the better of this because he's still prioritizing on the actual minion clears themselves. But catching up on the jungle clears, it is Vi passing towards the bottom side. Poppy passing towards the top side as the full clears come through for both junglers. Thank you, Kai, our observer, for showing off the bot side trades as well. As you're not even winning the trades at this point for Messages, so this is just kind of rough for the ASOL early on.
And it is going to be a little bit tough because Orianna is a character that, especially as you start getting a couple of those points in the W, you can really start chunking out messages really hard. So he tried to find a lead all on his own at the beginning, not necessarily able to do it just quite yet as they have both burned through all their potions. You see also Young going with the biscuits is going to have that little bit of extra nom-noms to keep him healthy during the course of this play. And we will see. One of the things that Messages has been trying to go for is some of these more unique styles of pick. But as we get this back away, I don't even know if they get all the way to an amplifying tome just quite yet. They are going to be stuck in this mid lane where Young has created a bit of a freeze. Again,
it felt cool to see that level 1 trade. Now Messages could be even more trouble. Perry's looping around. Big trade from Young.
Nice.
Flash forward from Perry. Guarantees the stun in the wall, and that's first blood to Young.
And this is so much of that danger, right? Messages was trying to force the wave underneath the turret so he could buy himself time to back away. But the flash from Perry makes sure that Messages has no time to do that whatsoever. And Kizno, seeing if he can find anything, but it will be Young backing away with so much more gold. Comes back with an entire tier and boots in advantage.
Ooh, 1v1 topside. Dragoon. A lot of damage there onto Tenacity and has the Ignite. We haven't really talked about the top lane too much because of all the action in the mid lane, but Dragoon's definitely looking for something as the engage comes through from Plux in the bot lane. Perry's spotted, so nobody's going to go all out, but Dragoon's going all out onto Tenacity. There's the Ignite burned. Has he used Flash? I can't tell, but actually in the Tribrush bot side, we're engaging onto Perry. Roam comes down from Messages. Doing what Asol does best, that is getting out of lane as Tenacity heals up, gets a turret shot onto Dragoon, but Perry will go down. Kizno continues the chase and finds a kill in the enemy jungle. Or rather, yes, enemy jungle.
Yeah, this big for LiT. You really need to find some of these answer backs because even though Dragoon threatening Tenacity, they did not find the kill. And Manui, you're so far.
Yeah, I mean, we just saw that Kizno was in the bot jungle. Bold for Manui to walk up there. That will be all summoner spells from both Poom and Manui. Big damage onto Kizno, traded back though. He should be fine with the Vault Breaker, and Young even roaming in here will not be able to turn the play.
At the same time though, it is enough to allow Manui and Poom to start pushing this wave out, make sure there's not going to be a freeze going up against them, unless Plux is able to tank all of this. Poom doesn't seem to want to let him. And this will be big if we see that Rockboom and Plux are able to hold this in position until the wave gets there. Yeah, that is a really big gain coming through for Kizno because Rockboom and Plux can hold the wave in a position where Manui and Poom can't get to it. And this is also a thing that's happening topside. Tenacity, because he can use the teleport to get back into lane, is going to force the wave to start pushing towards his side of the map, which will really put some tough moments here in Dragoon, who has not been able to out-CS his opponent.
I like the Poom's walking up to stop the back. Doesn't hit an ability, but does bait Plux to walk out of the brush.
Wait.
So
Rockboom and
delays
Plux,
the enemy support. Huh?
Rockboom and Plux screwed up their freeze. That is going to be pushing back towards Manui and Poom, which is exactly the opposite of what they wanted. Poom sticking around and influencing the wave enough has helped out DSG's wave state massively at this point. There's going to be a perfect freeze for both Tenacity and Manui on opposite sides of the map, which gives Perry, it means he's spoiled for choice. He can go anywhere he wants in order to try and find even more play. So they're going to continue prioritizing these grubs, just like we saw last time. It will also be traded for the Dragon by LiT.
Happy you highlight that. The fact that Manui is now able to catch this wave here. It's no longer frozen on the other side. And Rockboom's going to try and get it under the turret. It looks like he's trying to just hit the wave as much as he can. Young and Poom both here onto Messages. Flash available on the Dragon yet again. And he will get out this time around.
That is a flash being expended, and at the same time, LiT, they will be getting the Dragon here, and this explains why Manui is also like breaking the freeze that he had for his own team. He wants to make sure that there's not an opportunity for Kizno to come down and dive him after the wave is done, because Poom was not back there yet. Tenacity, we are still seeing this top lane really becoming a big advantage for DSG. Dragoon has not been able to take him down, but the Ignite coming up soon and X is the ultimate. You can look for windows to try and take down Tenacity relatively quickly. However, doesn't necessarily need to. He will be outscaling the Croc.
Kizno's trying to hit level 6 before maybe going up for an influence topside. I do agree, though. Playing towards the Garen could feel great, but also playing towards the Smolder. I love it when teams can dive this champion early on because there's not a lot of defensive tools. I know that Poom on Janna is going to make that harder, but level 4 Janna, not actually going to have that Monsoon to stop you from getting onto the Dragon. But Kizno is still pathing topside, so it looks like we're not playing with priority for Rockboom, trying to get the Kaisa ahead and put that Smolder behind. I wonder what the stacks are like. Actually, production, can we take a look, if you could, at Smolder? We're at that 8-minute mark. Typically, I'm seeing it around like 50. Yeah, there we go. Around the 50 range here. It's going to hit that big, huge level up at 225, anywhere between like the 20 to 25 minute. That's kind of the average that we're seeing, depending on how fed you get. How much you're able to hit champions is a big part of it.
Yeah. Ooh, this is dangerous.
So far on pace.
Really?
Speaking of, okay, Manui walks up, big damage goes in, Ignite is down, Rock Boom flashes under the turret for the kill, and an outplay from LiT's bot lane. Poom's in trouble as well as the 1v1 happens topside. Dragoons smash onto Tenacity, picks up one in the top lane too, so LiT went out on both sides of the map.
Yeah, I mean, they're just firing back in this game. As soon as I saw Manui walk up without his cleanse, I was just like, are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? But Tenacity up at the top side, losing out once again. That is huge, and now Young's at risk.
Yeah, level 6 has been hit for Kisno. Can go underneath the turret all the way, and Acel just doesn't do enough damage at this point in the game with only haunting guys, so that will be Kisno disengaging, but they got flash out of Young. So they can always look for the repeat gank.
It's also a lot of stacks coming through for messages at the same time. Sure. Even though he's down a decent amount of gold, getting the flash does mean that Kisno can look for a repeat gank there relatively soon. However, gold, ever so small advantage coming through for LiT. It'll be really on Harry at this point to try and find some opportunities to help out the rest of his team. But I gotta go back to that bottom lane, right? The fact that we did see Manui end up going down in that last situation is really bad. Smolder's a character that needs the opportunity to stack up. He needs to be in lane. Losing a big wave and losing that CS advantage also puts them in a spot where Rockland and Flux can be really aggressive coming up in the next several minutes. Manui will have his flash available for the next dragon fight, but he's not going to be strong at that point.
And Poom? Okay, just hits level 6. Could be in trouble. Flashes away from the nature's grasp of Plux, who will actually hit it onto mid lane, onto Young instead. But no play there. Kisno is looking at the bot side now. You're right that Manui has the flash available, but there is still the potential of a dive. With Poom nearby and that Monsoon available, though, I don't know how much they'll want to prioritize that. Dragon's only up in a minute 45, so we have a lot of time to go for a prep on it. I wonder if Rockboom's going to have an item by that point already. With the kill picked up, a little ahead in CS.
Yeah, it's an interesting spot, right? We did see that Dragoon. I think that is probably the biggest thing, Dragoon finding that solo kill. This is a good matchup for the Garen because you do have all that kill pressure, and he will be able to try and go for it again when his Ignite is available. But not having it now does mean that Disguise are going to be going to start up this second set of grubs. Remember, they got 4 last time. They are looking to try and find at least 4 at this time, and preferably pick up at least 5 so they can get those mines. And with the backing away from messages, it should be a relatively clean secure for them coming out this time. So they will have much more pushing power.
6.
Yeah. Yep, there's the ward. Going to be all 6 coming through for Perry. So welcome to the game, Twitch chat. You will be helping down, taking all of these objectives, all of these turrets. So Manui being left to his own devices yet again. I feel as though Manui is doing his best Mazel cosplay.
You're implying that me and Poom are of the same skill level. I'll take that. Manui throws down the ultimate to clear out the wave and should be just fine. I would have liked the look for the dive from Plux and Rockboom, but Manui reading it. I mean, I was wondering if Rockboom would have the item completed after that bag does pick up the full clips. So if we are looking at strength of this dragon fight, I'm definitely favoring LiT to the point that DSG should just not even try and contest.
Yeah. I mean, LiT are going to be trying to go for a dive once again. Kisno is still hanging around, but there's only 10 seconds left on the dragon. You find a pick before that, it will help out a lot. But they don't really need to because messages did already build priority in the lane. Should be able to get to the dragon first. And all these dragons stacking in this game, you got the Smolder, you got the Aurelion Soul, you got the normal dragon. LiT are finding themselves in a position where as they are starting to get their scaling tools online, they will be able to put a lot of threat onto Manui later between the Bite and the Kaisa and the huge ultimates that messages will be able to put out.
He's no spider that down to literally 1 health. It was right there. That could have been a Janna steal, but yeah, not going to happen.
Not gonna happen.
It
No
is the
blood
dragon
water.
going to the team that we expected it to go to based on the game state. We have seen Kisno hanging out at this bot lane more often. Happy to see the adaptation from Kisno rather than only playing to the Garen. Is at least threatening just with the presence down here. It will net a second plate for the side of LiT and Rockboom cashing in a lot of that gold. But we do see Manui with the first item picked up. Poom with the rare Janna gank top lane. Your top laner's backing off. I don't know if I love it. It's going to stop Dragoon's back, and Dragoon should just be out of there. So Poom is just kind of being annoying right now.
I mean, you got like 64 gold at least. Oh, there you go. Another 32. That's a lot of money picked up on Dragoon, and here's Parry, and Dragoon has to be so confused.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way the parry can stop Dragoon from running away from the turret. If he's stuck around, they can just go for the dive, but smart for Dragoon to say, no, I'm not feeling good here. I'm just going to walk away.
But it's going to be a big trade in terms of objectives, right? We are still seeing Rockboom going to be getting a lot of money down the bottom side, and the first brick should be going over to LiT Esports. There's a really big commit coming through for a DSG. It has to be followed up by a Rift Herald play. Otherwise, this doesn't make any sense to me at all. But at the same time, you put Smolder in a lane where he can free farm. He's getting some stacks every single wave. So ultimately, I mean, these guys seem to be having better overall allocations of their wave.
Shockwave onto Dragoon. Young's getting a lot of damage in. Now comes Parry. They need the Poppy to start tanking it up. Has a lot of shields to play with. Flash away from Dragoon. Also gets the Judgment down. Flux is here. Can he buffer it? He does! Gets away from the Keeper's Verdict with the Twisted Advance, and Plux picks up the kill.
That was weird. That was really weird here, King, is coming out. We just saw an attempted, like, pseudo dive, and that was one of the things that we were talking about from this guys earlier, is it's not clear to me that they know what plays are happening at any given time. They're constantly looking for one thing at a time, and Rockboom!
Ooh, can he take the solo kill onto Manui? Flash is available. Mom comes down, gets a good slow, so
nice.
He does flash, and he still goes down. Rockboom at the passive stacked up and gets the solo kill.
Yeah, getting the isolated Q there onto Manui guarantees the kill. Great play coming through for Rockboom to find that solo kill. That's the second time he's used the ultimate to get on top of that AD carry on Smolder, and LiT is going to be the one getting the Rift Herald here. It looks like both of these teams are very much in a position where they will have their playoff hopes alive as long as LiT can close this one out, as Tenacity jumps onto Dragoon, but I don't know if he wins that.
Yeah, I don't think he does either. LiT are in a very comfortable position in this game, too. Their playoff dreams are hinging on them taking this series. Dropping a game makes it harder for them. It doesn't guarantee that they are out, but it means that they have a path forward. These teams are literally the two that are the most likely to make that 9th place finish and be in the promotion tournament. So getting the win against the opponent, it doesn't guarantee that you are out of promotion relegations, but it almost does, because this is the other team that is literally staring you down for that final spot.
You also have to remember who they have left to play in this split. LiT is going to be playing up against Team Liquid Challengers, who has not been performing particularly well. And to answer the question, yes, Team Liquid Challengers would have to play through the promotion relegation tournament. And at the same time, Disguise, they have to play up against AoE, who is also a team that is kind of on the cusp of not necessarily making it to playoffs. So both these teams are still playing against teams that could potentially get knocked down and play in the promotion slot.
There's still a lot that could happen. The race to playoffs has never been tighter at this point in the season, I feel, for NACL. But that just makes things exciting. Gives a lot of stakes for these matches. This is game 2 in week 7 of a best-of-3. But we're already talking about how much it will impact the landscape of the final week, as well as that playoff run. As Dragoon will take a bottom turret. There's no kill topside for the side of DSG. Looks like they were trying to get onto messages, but not going to lock down the ace. So Dragoon's taking the 1v1 underneath the turret. Judgment's not enough damage. The XQ wasn't there. Tenacity, with the help of 3 turret shots, might be able to take this 1v1. But Plux has joined in now, so Tenacity's got to back off.
Yeah, I didn't see an Ignite coming through for Dragoon. It's not up just quite yet. That could have been the difference in the damage necessary to get the execute, but it's going to be both their ultimates down for this upcoming Dragon fight, and LiT, they still got a lot of pressure going on in the bottom side of the map, and Messages does need to hurry over relatively quickly. He needs to clear out this wave if they want to continue their Dragon stacking. Whoa!
Yeah, Acel doesn't have the teleport, but maybe a pick on a Poom can set up LiT. Oh, boy, so you're not going to
Oh, no way.
Okay,
it's
the
fine.
Saplings, they don't do that much damage anymore, especially if you're not maxing them here as the Mount guy, so not going to kill Poom. Does get away, but that pretty much guarantees the Dragon to LiT. This is their 3rd Dragon of the game. They also have a couple turrets to their name, 3-1, a 2K gold lead. LiT are looking very solid right now. They're actually going to peel off of the Dragon, jump onto Parry as Plux goes all the way around, but he's actually the escape tool for Parry to get out of there. Now they're looking at Young. Oriana's all alone right here, doing a lot of damage. Kids, no flashes away. Rockboom will look to chase it down. Still has the ultimate available, but does not need to use it quite yet. We'll just have the damage to kill Young there. So Oriana's out of there. LiT will go back towards the Dragon.
Yeah, that's a lot of stacks coming through for Messages, just throwing out that ultimate at the same time, getting the Cloud Dragon at the same moment is going to be helping out LiT a huge amount. Tenacity not able to teleport to anywhere. They don't really have any good wards for the teleport. Even though he gets a little bit more of a CS advantage, it doesn't help them that much. It doesn't necessarily get the gold in the places where they need it to be going. And yes, he will stop this turret from going down, taking too much damage from messages. That's still LiT, once again, being the first ones to try and make any of these plays. They get the dragon for themselves, and now they are 5 minutes away from getting a potential Dragon Soul. We need to see how close Manui actually is to getting that crucial 225 mark.
I do like, though, that teleport from Tenacity will maximize his own gold income. Thank you, Kai, our observer, for looking at it. 119 for Manui right now. Should hit 125 off of this as long as you CS it correctly. Use the Q. Oh, yeah. It doesn't hit that one melee, but there we go. Okay, so 225, or 125 rather, required. Second evolve. Perry will actually catch out messages right here. Locks him into the wall, doesn't have a lot of damage on his own. Poom's coming by, but it's only going to be a Janna. That's not the damage that you need. Tenacity will help, but messages gets out just fine. Wave crashing under the turret. DSG are trying to prioritize some of the sanding gold on the Rift right now. If they can pick up this turret, it is good for them. I don't believe it's an objective bounty. Nope. Actually can't quite tell, but either way, turret goes down. That's gold in their pocket.
They really need that, and it's not really going to cost them anything because it was their turn, right? Everybody on LiT was going for a reset, but Dragoon looking for Young, potentially not going to find anything there. LiT still has a lot of tools. The fact that Manui has not been fighting, I get the sense that someone might be teleporting here at some point, but the fact that...
It could only be messages.
It could.
Dragoon doesn't have one.
The fact that Manui is still so far from 225 as we crest the 20-minute mark here relatively shortly does mean that he's going to be hitting it closer to the 25-minute mark. Whereas, can we get an opportunity to look at messages stacks at this point? Because his number also matters. He doesn't have the same kind of just like raw breakpoints on the other side of the map, but he does do a lot more
First
damage.
We get the cinematic.
Cinematic.
First we get it.
Ah, no, it's the one with hands.
It's Cubby's favorite one.
Oh, it's just creepy. I don't like it.
I know. I'm disappointed. It's not the way you wanted it either, Cubby, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It is a creepy one regardless. DSG now have to worry about that being on the table as well for LiT.
That's a lot. You're generally looking to be a like just under 10 stacks per minute for an Aurelion Soul to be a good number, because it makes your black hole get larger, it makes your ultimate get larger, it gives you more damage and a higher XP on your dragon breathing, and so we are seeing a lot coming through for messages. He's going to be in a perfect position to do a ton of damage across this game, and with the Rylai's Crystal Scepter almost done at the same time, he's going to slow people down, and there's a lot of people, especially Perry Tenacity, they can just absolutely rip to shreds.
I will say, the later the game goes, though, the more items Smolder gets, the faster you're able to stack, especially now that he's going. He's probably going to get every Wolf and Raptor camp from this point on. So 25, I think, is realistic still, maybe a little earlier. So if DSG can delay the game that long, they still are in an okay spot. But yes, that is all to say LiT are still ahead. They are in a better or advantageous position.
Don't do it.
Considering where their stacks are. And also just where the game state is. Yeah. They're also on Dragon Soul point, so 2 minutes. I think that's a big thing. Can Manui get there before that Dragon?
As long as LiT don't go for a battle before this Dragon, Manui will not get there. He will not have enough waves to pick up the 225 before the Dragon Soul comes through. And admittedly, it's not the most impactful Dragon Soul in the world. Like, DSG can still play for the Elder Dragon. Ooh, does he take it? Okay.
That would have been awesome.
Oh,
okay,
wow.
Second one, he definitely takes if that second one lands. Kind of the hybrid AP build. We've seen different looks at the Kaisa builds. I've seen like the full lethality. I've seen, you know, a lethality item into full AP, but he is kind of going for the hybrid build. I haven't seen the Nashor's Tooth on Kaisa in quite a while, but Rockboom is going to go for all three evolves.
Yeah, going to have a lot of pressure getting put down onto Manui and Young. We were saying before that he wants to be able to kind of put pressure whenever Kisno does dive in. It'll help them quite a bit. We know that Rockboom, now that he has the money, can also be a major carry threat for the side of LiT. He's one of my favorite, one of the players I was most excited about going into this, and unfortunately, because he still needs to work on his laning phase quite a bit, it hasn't necessarily come through in as many LiT games as I was hoping, but he is a big threat, and now Kisno with no Q, not able to get
okay. Could have been caught out right there. I also like that Manui got aggressive onto Rockboom, trying to throw out every ability he can because he's trying to stack up. by hitting those on enemy champions. The Wolves are up, but he's not going for them yet. 40 seconds, he's at 162. You called it right, Josh. There's no chance that Manui can get to that 225 before the Dragon's up. But LiT aren't even waiting for the Dragon. They are just going straight for this Baron. It is spotted. Teleport coming in from Tenacity, so LiT are going to have to back off. They're actually going to take a fight. Interesting position. Poom's going to take a lot of damage right here. Dragoon's on the flank. Big Garen. Damage over the top. Flashes the wall. Spin to win. Poom's in trouble. Young's in trouble. Everybody's burning their summoner spells. This Tenacity is buying so much space for DSG. The Renekton pushed away messages, and I believe Rock Boom as well, so it was really only Dragoon threatening Manui, Parry, and Poom. Nobody dies, but that's pretty much every flash on the side of DSG down.
An incredibly confused fight. Like you said, the flashes are a big thing, but Young still has Shockwave, and Messages does not have the ultimate available. In fact, it's just Kizno and Dragoon who can use very effectively if you can get to Manui or Young. But this is the Dragon Soul fight, and LiT just need to delay.
This is an interesting position to be in. Manui 50 stacks away. It's moments like this in the late game where he can actually just hit it during the fight. He's looking for Plux right here. A lot of damage, but not enough. Plux will still live. That's heal. Boom gets the kill out of Kizno, though, as Dragoon trades it right back onto Parry. No junglers up. No smite to secure this Dragon. Who's going to get it? Who's going to go for it? Manui still getting lots of damage on the messages right there. Poom's on a flank here on the channel, looking for the knockup onto Dragoon. They do hit it. Young's there. Shockwave no longer available. Mom comes down, does not actually hit onto Dragoon, but it buys space so they get the Dragon. That is soul denied. Now Messages went for the reset, teleporting back into the mid wave. He's going to try and chase down. Jumps over the wall. Singularity not going to be enough, though.
Rock Boom!
Oh, big ultimate from Rock Boom. He assassinates Young on a rampage. We'll get the double kill onto Manui. Make it a triple kill because Boom definitely doesn't have the damage for that one. LiT won't get the Dragon, but they will win the team fight.
And they will get the Baron immediately after that with only Parry left alive. LiT have enough tools. Messengers can do enough damage to this Baron that he doesn't even need Rock Boom to be there. It's only Parry trying to make a bit of a miracle play. And Rock Boom, he's got the Honey Fruit. He's going to be A-okay. Messages doesn't need to contribute the damage. He just needs to zone Parry away to get even more stacks.
Yeah, Parry's just going to see the Aurelion Soul playing goalie and say, all right, can't walk up to him. We'll get some damage on him. Now lower health bars. Dragoon's going to play goalie this time around, running away. Keeper's Verdict a little late here. Just going to hit the Garen shortly or just let it helicopter out. They have the cooldown either way. That is Baron secured for LiT Esports, and they are trying to bring us to that game 3. The teleport for Messages was huge here.
I mean, the teleport from Messengers helped a lot, but Rock Boom finding this angle, he knows he's able to take down Young in this spot as soon as he jumps in, just one-shotting the enemy mid laner, and then from there, it's just a DPS check. If Manui had the stack, he would win that, but he doesn't yet. Rock Boom able to run down everybody effectively, a 1v3 to jump in, and even though they don't get the Dragon, the Baron buff and everything else that they have does with their skyrocketing through this game, and oh no.
Boom! Little out of sorts, little out of position there, buddy. LiT will take that one. Well found from Kizno. No support for DSG means that they're not going to have a big peel tool here as the Baron siege will continue from LiT. I want to do a stat check on Manui, or rather stack check on Manui. Where is the Smolder at right now? 205. Still 20 to go.
It's 26 minutes in. This is super late coming through for this Smolder. This is one of the reasons why I don't love it on the Disguise game plan, because they don't necessarily give Manui resources. And he's just dead?
Yeah, I mean, this Kaisa is doing insane damage here. Has the Shadow Flame completed, so those Ws are, they're hitting pretty hard. 212 still for Manui, so not even that much closer. 13 stacks to go. This game might end before they even get there. With the speed that LiT are trying to push right now, it's a 5v4 yet again. As Plux is in there, goes for the engage. Rock Boom's got the damage over the top. Tenacity's just down immediately as the fight begins. Big ultimate comes in for Messages as well. Shockwave used by Young as he falls. Dragoon picks up that kill. LiT don't have the wave with them, but they still have Baron, and they still have all 5 members up.
The fact they're able to do that to the tankiest member of DSG means that we are going to Game 3 here. Both teams' playoff hopes still left alive, and Rock Boom looking for an opportunity. Doesn't have the ultimate yet to jump over, but that is such a huge telltale sign. However, we are finally getting to the promised land for DSG. Manui should have access to the full Dragon Train, the 225 stacks. He has crested the moment. If DSG can somehow turn things around off of the back of Manui, it would be huge. They want to get this 2-0. It guarantees them a playoff berth, but it's happened so late. There's so much goal on the other side of the map. LiT just need to not make a mistake. They need to not make any blunders, and that's where you actually make the most of them, is when you are doing your best to make sure you don't make a mistake. They have to be so nervous at this spot.
And I mean, yeah, you hit 225 stacks on Smolder, but that doesn't guarantee a win. It just means that you're much more powerful than you were before. But you know who else is powerful? The 8-0 Kaisa. A cease and desist is used. Speaking of Kaisa, Rock Boom's just doing insane damage. Legendary on the champion. 9-0 for Rock Boom. This is why we were excited about this rookie AD carry as soon as this team qualified at the end of summer. Coming into the split, how he looked in, Champs Queue, how he looked in Solo Queue. We were like, Rock Boom is somebody we're going to keep our eyes on, and it's performances like this that reinforce that opinion here. It doesn't look like it's going to matter that Smolder has hit the break point because LiT are just too far ahead. Although Dragoon is taking up turret underneath here. Oh, Manui doesn't quite have the damage, though. Dragoon is too fast.
Too fast. It's only going to get worse with the upcoming Cloud Soul. Very likely to go over towards LiT. The fact that they get the cleanse away from Manui helps their ability to take him down massively. And Disguise, they have no priority. They don't have any waves to play with. Tenacity could potentially try and go for a teleport towards the bottom lane if they want to try and make this happen. But they need to try and find some flank, and they have no way to do it right now.
It's just going to be brute forcing it. Tenacity will go for a reset, has the teleport, but it's right into the mid wave. Not a flank into the bottom wave. Front to back approach. Message is going to feel great about that one. We're just going to try and find the pick on the parry. Plux gets it. Now into the backline goes Dragoon. Spin the win. He just shredded everybody alongside Rock Boom, alongside Messages. All members of LiT full throttle forward. Take the team fight a 0 for 5, and that is the game. Josh, we're going to a game 3. LiT are not giving up on their playoff dream yet.
And so much of it comes off of the back of Rock Boom, fighting so many of these angles, finding assassinations on Manui, on Young, and just not letting go of the breaks whatsoever. The fact that Dragoon wins the top side, the fact that Rock Boom and Plux are also winning his bottom lane means that we have a full series between these two teams. That means going into game 3, we need to see which of these guys is going to be able to win that early game, because that's who's won every game so far.
A clean 2-0 from either of these teams would have changed a lot of the foldy sheet going into next weekend for playoff implications, but the fact it's going to 3 games is making everything much more interesting. What a performance from LiT to bring things back. What a performance from Rock Boom, solo killing Manui twice and being an absolute menace in those late game team fights. We're going to send it to a short break to see who's able to take the series. We'll be right back after this.
Introducing the new foot-long sidekicks at Subway. Try the warm and delicious foot-long cookie, foot-long pretzel, or foot-long churro.
Everybody in Twitch chat.
Look at the camera.
This is the guy. This is the guy making the run to the LCS, through the LCS Challengers League. Round of applause for Scary Jerry.
Shout out Collegiate. We're coming for everybody. We're going to win. Also, Shogo's been in the Twitch chat of every match that we've had, so shout out to him. He's our biggest fan.
Nice.
Can't wait to take St. Thomas out in the finals.
Kind of going back to the Lucian item here in the bot side. This sets up really nice for Lucian's ultimate because the support item he'll grab is the damage amp. So you throw down that auto, you get the slow, you pump your ult. Oh boy.
Flash, doesn't matter if you die, and Wixie gets pierced through the heart. Victory in your first series of the split. It's a little bit of a top kingdom, huh?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, he was completely gapped both games. It was just a slaughter, what can I say? But it's really good to see you guys again.
Top laner is going to show up as teleports are channeled. Now jumping in is Jenkins right onto Chime. Bleeds him down so damn quickly. Quad is here. And a double kill as the sword slices down from Surdy.
I want to go to you as an individual, as we do see the Grim Reaper running around behind you. Thank you, Shochi, for being the mascot for the team. Still clumped up. They haven't gone down yet. Shochi's just free firing. Jumps in over the knockup from Niles. No knock-up combo for Spyrax to look for, and he even goes down. Shochi with a double kill, making a triple kill. Reset City versus Supernova's mid laner. Quadra kill to Shochi, and they will ace Maryville.
There is a reason that I said it's going to be a Shochi specialty game. The future of the LCS starts right after the LCS. Welcome to Challengers League.